Welcome to Back Talk Sports. I'm Alex Barth. He's Cole Altman. He's TJ Horgan. We got a lot to get to, so we'll skip the pleasantries. NBA Finals tonight, Game 5. Warriors looking to bring it home for the second straight year. Cavs trying to hold on. LeBron maybe trying to hold on to his dignity, if you want to go that far, and taking the game tonight. A lot of storylines in this one. So before we break it down, let's start big. Cole, we'll start with you. What do the Cavaliers have to do tonight in California to extend the series?
Well, I think because it's in Golden State, I think their bench is going to have to step up a little bit. And even LeBron will have to have one of the biggest games. But LeBron doesn't really step up and shine in the light. So he will have to tonight and change his appearances in the past.
TJ?
I mean, the only way I can see that happening is if LeBron and company really cracks down on Klay Thompson. Steph Curry and Klay Thompson especially, because I mean, without Draymond Green, those guys they're gonna want to go wild from the 3-point line. Not like they already don't, but
so can they do it?
Splash
You
Brothers.
got the Warriors tonight?
I do have the Warriors tonight.
You think it's Splash Brothers are a big part of that?
I think it'll be the Splash Brothers. I think despite Draymond Green being out, I think we see Andre Iguodala step up tonight. I think it's going to happen.
So you both mentioned Draymond Green, not in the lineup tonight, suspended for his we'll call it an altercation with LeBron in Game 4, stepped over, and there was some back and forth. Did Draymond Green deserve to be suspended? Let's for a second pretend we live in a perfect world. Obviously, the NBA is never going to suspend LeBron James. In a perfect world, should there have been matching suspensions? TJ, we'll start with you.
In a perfect world, there would have been 0 suspensions.
Okay.
LeBron was stepping over him. At the very least, it's an inadvertent provocation. At the worst, it's blatant disrespect. I mean, he's stepping over the guy. I think Draymond Green should have gotten a fine. I mean, you can't just go around punching guys in the groin. That doesn't happen. But yeah, no, the suspension's ridiculous. It's the NBA Finals. Come on now.
Well, I think they both should have got suspensions because LeBron James stepped over him and has horrible sportsmanship. And then Draymond Green goes up to him and punches him right in the groin. Like, that's not what sports people should do.
I mean, we've seen bad sportsmanship before. We don't always get suspensions out of it.
Like A-Rod.
Yeah, A-Rod's quite a bad sport.
Yeah.
But so what makes this different, Cole? What makes this instance different?
Well, I think it's in the NBA Finals, and I think people are really hyped up, so I think they need to just calm their nerves and just look up what's going around them, like what's going on in the world around them.
The NBA knows Golden State. It's in Golden State tonight. They know Golden State's going to win if Draymond Green's there. I mean, it was their attempt to try to drag out the finals. It's a little ridiculous. I mean, they're gonna win regardless. Maybe Iguodala gets his MVP for the second year in a row. If Golden State's taken it, that suspension of Draymond Green was unnecessary. And I actually saw a headline. He's going to be watching the game from a hotel right next to the OCO Coliseum tonight. So the minute they win, in comes Draymond.
You really think that Golden State wins automatically?
Bring the confetti, Cole. Golden State's taking it.
Well, I don't think that's necessarily happening because LeBron is very talented and they have the big three, Kyrie Irving, LeBron James, and Kevin Love. So I really don't think that, TJ.
You know, Cole, I think we've seen LeBron in this position so many times before. Why is LeBron going to do it now?
But what makes you think he won't?
His past 4 appearances.
Well, that doesn't mean he can't change.
Well, let me ask you this, Cole. Do you have any examples for us of times when LeBron has stepped up in big games in the playoffs?
Well, he hasn't. But I don't think, because if someone in life has bad behavior, they can change that.
But
it's just like LeBron's appearances.
Why does he change tonight? Why should we believe after 13 years of him just turtling in the playoffs that tonight's the night he decides to break through?
Because I think tonight is a big night because it is their final game. It could be their final game in the season if Golden State pulls ahead and wins. So if Golden State win, they clinch. Could they extend?
To Cole's point, if LeBron's going to do it, it's going to be tonight. It's going to be this series. No way LeBron. I mean, if LeBron's going to win any championship, no way he goes in a 5 championship series NBA Finals drought. If he's going to do it, it's going to be.
Especially versus Steph Curry. Like,
And you mentioned against Steph Curry. That brings us to our next point. The big part of this here is the main storyline. LeBron versus Curry. You had the whole argument when they were talking about MVP. LeBron said that it was insulting that Curry was the first unanimous MVP in league history. And let's break that down for a second. Most valuable player. Does that necessarily mean best player? One could say that LeBron had more value to the Cavs than Steph Curry did to the Warriors. He missed time. They were still successful, but Curry may have been the better player. I remember back to 2011 when Peyton Manning was injured on that Colts team. They were horrible without him, not many other changes. Many people argued Peyton Manning should have been the most valuable player in the NBA that year because his value was clear. He took the Colts from a 12-win team to a 2-win team. Any individual player that was worth 10 wins is pretty valuable. So let me ask you guys this. Is Steph Curry actually the most valuable player in the league? Or is it LeBron James? Not best, because I think, do we all agree Steph Curry is the best player in the league?
Yes.
I'll give you that, Barth.
But in terms of value to their team, and I'm talking that's amount of the contract, how much they did into the cap, what they're like on and off the court, how, like, what the team is like with them removed, because the Warriors are a good team without Steph Curry. We know that. Are they that good, though? Is Steph Curry the most valuable player in the league? Is it LeBron? Am I missing somebody? Cool.
I think Steph Curry is the most valuable player in the league because he's a great three shooter and he can do everything. Go to the basket. He can shoot from anywhere. He has some great moves. And earlier in the season, did you see that move on Chris Paul? Like, that just explains everything.
But aren't there other guys who are also great players? What makes him so much more valuable? What makes him so much more important to the Warriors?
He's more important because he can, I don't think there's one more player in the league that can do everything that he can.
So he's the most well-rounded player.
Yes, I think he's the most unique and well-rounded player.
TJ.
I don't know, Cole. I think I got to disagree with you that he's the most well-rounded player.
Why do you think that?
Oh, man. All right, thank you for pressing me. I think if you take away Steph Curry's shot, his shot is so good. I'm not going to deny that. But there are things that are lacking. His ability to drive, his defense. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm saying they're not MVP worthy. I mean, if you look at him, Steph Curry was out of a few games this playoff season, and the Warriors still won big. I mean, that's not value, that's replaceability.
Yeah, but are you saying Steph Curry's a bad driver? Like,
Cole, you're twisting my words.
Okay, Stephen A.
driver to the basket, not driver of a car.
I've never seen him drive a car, actually.
Neither have I.
Maybe we'll have to...
Okay, so Stephen
I wonder
A.
if we
skip
could get
over
that
here.
as a segment. Steph Curry drives around with Cole, and Cole judges his driving abilities.
So Steph Curry's not the NBA MVP this past season. Who's the most valuable player in the league to their team?
Man, it's LeBron. I mean, I don't like the guy, but it's LeBron James.
Would the most valuable player, though, and again, we talk about value. There's a lot of value off the court as well as on. I think we can both agree with that. Look at all the waves LeBron caused off the air. He unfollowed the team on Twitter, which was absolutely childish. He ran his coach out of town. He's going to run the second best player on the team out of town in Kevin Love. Is that guy who's tearing the city apart, tearing the locker room apart, really the most valuable player in the league? And if so, what does that say about the NBA?
I don't think they had this discussion in the meeting room of people voting for.
No, but that's why we're having it right now.
The MVP.
If it really is the most valuable player, does a true valuable player?
So are you saying the people who voted on MVP are voting with the wrong framework?
Well, what I'm saying, the purpose for this discussion is most valuable player, I think, gets confused for best player when it really should be two different things. Value doesn't necessarily mean most talented. If you're saying LeBron James was the most valuable player in the league, would the most valuable player in the league really do these things?
I mean, he would do the things on the court, and I think that makes up for it.
So you think what he does on the court is enough to make up for his indiscretions off the court?
Unequivocally.
Oh,
Okay.
do you?
Oh, I do.
I think a real sports player has to be very well-rounded, a good person that's great in the locker room. Because if they are going to be on a team, they have to be good everything, personal life and on the court.
I think it's way too easy to start picking apart NBA players' personal lives.
Yeah, right.
Personal lives. If
Although
we're going to go
have
after
an interesting talk
that.
about
for value.
We're going to have an interesting talk in January about your thoughts of Ndamukong Suh as the NFL MVP. Anyway, we move on. Baseball season as well as we enter the summer months. And boy, have these Red Sox really been a mind-boggler. At times, they look like an all-time MLB team. At other times, well, they just lost to the Twins, who are, if you heard the first inning of the game on NESN, pathetic. They couldn't say it enough. This is really a struggling team. Rubber match coming up, but 2 of 3 really shouldn't be enough for a team that wants to be a playoff contender against a team like the Twins. So let me ask you this, because I find myself asking this question almost every day. Are the Red Sox for real? Is this a team that can make a run into October, or do they just flash in the pan every once in a while and get our hopes up?
I think their hitting could take them so far,
Okay.
and I think that could wipe out anything the pitching does. Even with Joe Kelly and Rick Porcello,
Gross.
they can just wipe them out like a squeaky clean whiteboard.
So you think that, all right, TJ, is the pitching not enough of a problem that the offense can overcome it?
Right now it is the problem. Right now, I'm not going to say they're not legit, but I'm going to say that they're not playoff. They don't have a threat to go far in the playoffs, but they could change that very quickly and very soon. They have some. I'm going to stop saying very. I sound like Donald Trump. They have some crucial.
They got the best pieces. They got the best
They're
prospects.
hitting. It's fantastic. They have some crucial games coming up against the Baltimore Orioles, who right now are tied for first place with the Red Sox. Regardless of pitching, regardless of hitting, if they can find a way to overcome the Baltimore Orioles in these upcoming series, I think the Red Sox are absolutely a threat in the playoffs.
So, Cole, why do you...
But right now they're
right.
not. As of now, they're not. Their pitching is atrocious.
So I want to hear from Cole, who thinks that they are good enough to make a run.
Sure.
What in their pitching staff leads you to believe that
David
they could
Price.
actually be a player? Just David Price? He's only once every 5th day. So if
David
you're,
Price and Craig Kimbrell, in the stats, they say that he could turn it around in like the end of the season. So I think even if they're doing really bad in the end of the season, whoop, they could turn it around easily.
but let's say you're in a best-of-7 series. David Price pitches at best 3 times. What about those other 4 games?
Like we said last week,
Stephen Wright 4 times, duh.
You could. That's the beauty with knuckleballers, but I want to hear Cole answer.
I think, like I said last week, I think they could get Shelby Miller in the middle of the season, and I think he just we could just take the team
So you agree with
far.
TJ that they need to make a move?
Definitely, I
Okay.
so agree with TJ on this one.
Yeah.
Like TJ's my man on this one.
We are. They need to make a move.
One more thing, real quick before we go. You mentioned David Price. The Red Sox, a couple years ago, elected to not re-sign John Lester, citing his age as a 30-year-old, that he would not be a viable starting pitcher. They ended up using that money to sign David Price, who's been okay. Signing David Price aside, you still have Lester, who this past week was NL Pitcher of the Week, 2-0, sub-1 ERA, 16 strikeouts, no walks. Now, that's just 1 year. We knew that he was going to be good this year. The question was the length of a long-term contract. Did the Red Sox make a mistake letting John Lester walk out that door?
You can look at the past and say it's a mistake all you want. But John Lester, for so many years, tormented me as a Red Sox fan based on the fact that the Red Sox treated him as a number 1 for the years that he was not a number 1 pitcher. John Lester, John Lackey, I legitimately chalk their success up to a change of scenery. I mean, the Red Sox have just destroyed so many pitchers, and frankly, I was ready for Lester and Lackey to be okay to good going somewhere else. I think the Red Sox money is better spent somewhere. I mean, Jackie, Mookie, Hanley, not Pablo, but whatever. I think their money...
always not Pablo.
Always not Pablo.
Always not Pablo.
Their money is much better spent in other places. Trade for a pitcher.
Cole, real quick before we gotta go.
I think when they got rid of John Lester, are we even a team anymore? Like, yeah, let's just get rid of one of the best pitchers in Red Sox history. Like, let's just do that. Like,
That's bold, Cole.
So mistake. So it was a mistake.
yeah, it's like the Bruins getting rid of like everybody, like
Well, the
Tyler
Bruins,
Sagan.
which
they've done
like,
a few times.
We could go 15 minutes about the Bruins, and coincidentally, you check online, there is another Back Talk Sports episode about Stanley Cup Finals, something's brewing and all that. We got to get out of the way so those guys can do their thing. So for Cole Altman and TJ Horgan, I'm Alex Barth. Hey, come talk sports with us. MindsetGo.com to get started. Thanks for watching Back Talk Sports.